He's one of Wisconsin's most notorious killers.
I'm innocent. I won't do nothing to harm nobody.
Stephen Avery was featured on Making a Murder, which is a highly popular and successful Netflix docuseries in 2015. But where is he today? Stephen Avery was born in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin in 1962 to Alan and Dolores Avery. When he was only 3 years old, his family opened a salvage yard in nearby Gibson, Wisconsin. This salvage yard would become important in Avery's future. Young Avery was surrounded by his 3 siblings, brothers Chuck and Earl and sister Barb. The Avery siblings attended local public schools, but Stephen was separated from other kids when he went to a special elementary school that, according to his mother, was for slower kids. His school records showed that he had a lower than average IQ. His IQ was about 70. For perspective, the average IQ score ranges from 90 to 110. Due to this, he struggled a lot in school. Avery started getting in trouble with the law in 1981 when he was only 18 years old. In March of that year, he was convicted of burglarizing a bar alongside a friend. The duo stole beer, sandwiches, and $14 in change from the establishment. He served 10 months in prison in the Manitowoc County Jail. Once he got out of jail, he found love in a woman named Lori Matheson. Avery and Matheson got married on July 24, 1982, and together they had 4 children: Rachel, Jenny, Stephen, and Will. But even as he was starting a family, Avery remained in trouble with the law. In 1982, he was involved in a horrifying instance of animal cruelty. He took part in pouring gasoline and oil on his cat and then threw the cat into a bonfire until the innocent animal died. He was jailed with charges of animal cruelty until 1983. After being released from prison for the second time, he got involved in more trouble with the law. In January of 1985, he ran his cousin's car off the side of the road, and when she pulled over, Avery pulled a gun out on her. While he claimed that the gun was not loaded and he said he was just trying to stop her from spreading false rumors about him, he was sentenced to 6 years in jail due to endangering the safety of others and for possession of a firearm. At around the same time of this incident, Avery was also charged of brutally attacking and assaulting a woman named Penny Bernstein after his picture was selected from a photo lineup by the victim, even though he was seen 40 miles away shortly after the attack, and his defense pulled up 16 eyewitnesses, as well as a receipt with a timestamp proving he could not have been the attacker. He was sentenced to 32 more years in prison. Avery maintained his innocence for the Bernstein case the entire time he was imprisoned. Then, in 2002, after serving 18 years in prison, the first 6 years were served concurrently for the endangering of safety and the weapons charges. Wisconsin Innocence Project used DNA testing that was not available at the time of the original attack to prove that Avery was not responsible for the attack. Instead, Bernstein's attacker was a man named Gregory Allen, who was not suspected in the case but for whom looked a bit like Avery. Due to the DNA testing, Avery was released from jail on September 11, 2003. But by that time, his wife had divorced him and he was estranged from his children. This case garnered a lot of attention, and a new law, the Avery Bill, was passed to create a bipartisan task force to decrease the likelihood of wrongful convictions in the future. But that was not the end of Avery's crime days. On October 31, 2005, a young photographer named Teresa Halbach disappeared. Halbach's last known appointment was with Avery at his salvage yard, Avery's Auto Salvage, to photograph his sister's minivan that he was planning on selling. Since he was the last known contact with Halbach, he was instantly a prime suspect. Police found Halbach's vehicle partially concealed in Avery's salvage yard, and bloodstains that matched Avery's DNA were also found in the car. Investigators later discovered bone fragments in a burn pit belonging to Avery that were identified as belonging to Halbach. On November 11, 2005, Avery was arrested and charged with 4 counts: murder, kidnapping, sexual assault, and mutilation of a corpse. Avery maintained that he was framed, but prosecutors did not believe him as more damning evidence came to light, including Halbach's car keys being found in Avery's bedroom. But Avery's attorneys still maintained his innocence. It was discovered that a sample of his blood, which was collected from the Bernstein case, had been unsealed and punctured, and Avery's team said that could be how investigators found Avery's blood in the crime scene. This was disproved because the blood found on Halbach's car did not have any traces of EDTA, preservative used in blood vials, but is not present in the human body. Avery's nephew also got involved in this case. Avery's sister Barb's 16-year-old son, Brendan Dassey, was charged as an accessory in the murder of Halbach and also admitted to helping dispose of the body. Dassey later recanted his confession and claimed that he was coerced into confessing. Making a Murderer premiered on December 18, 2015 on Netflix, rocketing Avery and his crimes to worldwide notoriety. The first season of the show focused on Avery's imprisonment from Bernstein's case, his release, and then the Halbach case. The show focused on both Avery and Dassey. The second season focused more on the aftermath of Avery's and his nephew's convictions and both of their attorneys' fights to prove their innocence. Making a Murderer brought more information on the case to the forefront. After the show premiered, People magazine reported that 2 of the jurors on Avery's case had ties to the police force. One juror was the father of Manitowoc County Sheriff's deputy, and another was the wife of a Manitowoc County clerk. Another juror member had to step away from the case due to a family emergency, revealed that at the beginning of the trial, 7 members of the jury voted that Avery was not guilty and was shocked that the entire jury switched to a guilty verdict. Another jury said that they felt intimidated into voting that Avery was guilty and that they feared for their own safety during the process of being on the jury. Making a Murderer was a widely viewed documentary and is highly discussed in the media. This caused for there to be many petitions and debates on whether or not Avery and Dassey were innocent or guilty. The year that Making a Murderer premiered was the same year that a petition was created at a White House petitioning website. This petition, titled "Investigate and Pardon the Averys in Wisconsin and Punish the Corrupt Officials Who Railroaded These Innocent Men." A statement from the president revealed that since both Avery and Dassey were state prisoners, the president could not pardon them. The governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker, then said that he would not also pardon the men. Additionally, in 2017, Avery's attorney filed a conviction notice that was over 1,200 pages, petitioning for a new trial. On February 26, 2019, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals granted Avery's petition for a new hearing. So where is Avery now? In the last episode of Season 2 of Making a Murderer, which was entitled Trust No One, it was revealed that Avery has exhausted all of his appeals and could no longer receive state-appointed legal representation. He is serving his life sentence at Wisconsin's Waupun Correctional Institution. As of 2020, his lawyer, Kathleen Zellner, has revealed that there has been a new brief that was filed. This brief was titled The Avery Reply Brief, and Zellner revealed that she was feeling optimistic about the chance for Avery to receive a new trial. The brief was a 49-page counter to the state of Wisconsin, and in May of 2020, Zellner filed an additional 130-page document asking this court system to give Avery a new trial. There has still not been any more news on this brief, but if the appeal wins, it will be the second time that Avery would be exonerated from prison. On Christmas Day, she posted a letter from Stephen Avery's to his supporters. The message inside the card read, "I love my supporters. They are my family and God. Christmas is about family and love. I love my mom and dad. Happy New Year. I only got one wish on my God. Be home for my mom and dad. Love, Stephen Avery, 2020. Also during the past couple of years, Avery has become involved with Lynn Hartman. The couple communicated through a series of letters and phone calls, and they even became engaged to be married only 1 week after meeting in prison for the first time. But this engagement did not last because Avery feared that Hartman was only into him because of his money and fame. As of Avery's nephew, Dassey is still incarcerated in the state of Wisconsin. He is currently 31 years old and has been determined that, like Avery, Dassey has a lower IQ. Dassey is also working to fight his conviction and prove his innocence, but as of right now, Dassey's only chance of parole comes in 2048, when he will be nearly 60 years old, for a crime he allegedly committed when he was only 16 years old. Well, there you have it. Stephen Avery in 2021, then and now. Let us know what you think of this situation in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.